All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah, excited to be here.
So today we're going deep on something that's absolute fundamental to AI.
That's right.
Tensors and safetensors.
Yeah. And these things, they might sound a little intimidating at first. You know?
They do sound kind of technical.
Yeah, but really they're not that complicated once you wrap your head around them.
I think it's like anything in a specialized field.
Sure.
Once you learn the language,
Exactly.
it's not as scary as it sounds.
That's right.
So what we want to do today is give you a clear understanding of what tensors are, what they do, why they're so important, and then we'll talk about safe tensors, which is like this really interesting way to store tensor data securely.
Yeah, it's all about safety and efficiency.
Right, exactly.
Which are kind of the watchwords these days in AI.
Absolutely. And, I always like to start with like a real world example so people can kind of connect with it.
Sure.
Like imagine you're looking at a self-driving car. Right. And it's somehow navigating through traffic making decisions in real time.
Yeah, how does it even begin to understand the world around it?
Yeah, like how does it know what's a pedestrian, what's a stop sign, what's another car?
Right.
Well, it all starts with these things called tensors.
Yeah, that's
So let's break it down.
Okay.
What exactly is a tensor?
So a tensor at its core is basically a container for data.
Okay.
But it's not just any container. It's a container that can hold data in multiple dimensions.
Multiple dimensions. So we're not talking about just like a list of numbers here.
Right. It's more than just a list.
Oh, crap.
It's like a multi-dimensional array or a grid.
So I always find it helpful to have an analogy.
Sure.
To kind of wrap my head around this stuff.
Yeah.
So what's a good analogy for tensors?
Okay, so imagine a pizza box.
Okay, I like where this is going.
All right, so you've got your pizza box, and inside you have individual slices of pizza.
Yeah, delicious.
Now, each of those slices represents a single data point. So like the color of a pixel in an image or the price of a stock.
So it's like the tiniest little bit of information.
Exactly.
The atom of data.
Right. So now a vector, which is a one-dimensional tensor,
Okay.
is like a single row of those pizza slices in the box.
Okay, so just like a line of data.
Line of data, exactly.
Oh, right.
Now, if you take the whole pizza box with all the rows and columns of slices,
Yeah.
that's like a matrix, which is a two-dimensional tensor.
Okay, so we've got the single slice, the row of slices, and then the whole box.
Exactly.
Oh, right.
And then to get even more complex, you can imagine stacking multiple pizza boxes on top of each other.
Okay.
And that's what higher dimensional tensors are like.
So like a stack of pizza boxes
Yeah.
to represent something really complex like a video.
Exactly, because a video has multiple frames.
Right.
And each frame is like an image.
Each image is made up of pixels.
Exactly. So you need all those dimensions to capture all that information.
That's really cool, and it's making me hungry.
Yeah, me too.
So okay, we've got these tensors, these containers that can hold all this data in all these different dimensions. But why are they so essential for machine learning?
Well, for a couple of reasons.
But
First, tensors are really good at handling the kinds of complex data structures that AI systems need to deal with.
okay, like those images and videos we were talking about,
Exactly. But it's not just images and videos. It could be anything that has multiple dimensions.
like sensor data from a self-driving car or financial data.
Right. Anything where you have data points that are related to each other in some way.
Okay, so they help organize the data.
They organize the data, and they also allow for really efficient mathematical operations.
Okay.
And this is where it gets really crucial for machine learning, because the heart of machine learning is all about finding patterns and relationships in data.
Right, and that involves a lot of math.
A lot of math, especially something called matrix multiplication.
Matrix multiplication, now that sounds scary.
It sounds scary, but it's basically just a way of combining two matrices
Okay.
to get a new matrix.
And why is that so important for AI?
Well, it turns out that matrix multiplication is really good at representing the kinds of calculations that neural networks need to do.
Neural networks now, those are like the brains of AI, right?
Exactly. They're the things that allow AI systems to learn from data.
Okay, so tensors help organize the data,
Mhm.
and they enable these super efficient calculations.
Right. And there's another big advantage.
Okay.
Tensors are optimized to work on specialized hardware like GPUs and TPUs.
GPUs and TPUs, those are like those super powerful processors that are designed for graphics and AI.
Exactly. They're like supercharged calculators.
Okay.
And they can handle the massive calculations that are needed for machine learning much faster than your average CPU.
So we're talking about speed and efficiency here.
Yeah, it's all about speed and efficiency.
Right, and that's really important when you're dealing with these huge data sets.
Absolutely. The data sets that are used for training AI models can be absolutely enormous.
Right. So tensors basically allow us to process all this data in a reasonable amount of time.
Yes. Exactly.
Okay, so far we've established that tensors are pretty amazing.
Yeah, they're pretty fundamental.
But now let's talk about safe tensors.
Okay.
Because that adds a whole other layer of importance to this.
Yeah, security.
Right.
So Safetensors is a specialized file format for storing tensor data.
Right.
And it's designed to address some of the security concerns that are becoming more and more important in AI.
So as AI becomes more powerful and more widespread, we need to start thinking about the potential risks.
Absolutely, because if someone can tamper with the data that's being used to train AI models,
Yeah.
that could have really serious consequences.
Like imagine if someone hacked into a self-driving car's AI system.
Exactly, or a medical AI that's making diagnoses.
Right, that could be really dangerous.
So Safetensors is designed to prevent that kind of tampering.
So it's like a security guard for our AI data.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Okay, so how does it work?
Well, Safetensors uses a really strict schema to ensure that only numerical data is allowed in the file.
So no sneaky code injections or anything like that.
Exactly. And it also uses a cryptographic hash to verify the integrity of the data.
A cryptographic hash. So that means that if anyone tries to tamper with the data, even a tiny bit,
The hash will change.
and we'll know that something's wrong.
Exactly.
Wow. So it's like a tamper-proof seal on the data.
Exactly.
I find that really reassuring.
Yeah, it's becoming increasingly important as AI systems become more critical to our lives.
Okay, so safe tensors are all about security, but they also have some other benefits, right?
Yeah, they're also really efficient.
Okay.
So they load much faster than traditional formats, which means that your AI applications can get up and running more quickly.
So that's good for speed and for, just making things run smoothly.
Exactly. And they're also designed to be cross-compatible with different machine learning frameworks.
Okay, so I could use them with PyTorch or TensorFlow or whatever.
Exactly.
That's really handy.
Yeah, it makes it much easier to share models and collaborate with others.
So we've talked about tensors and safe tensors and how they're both essential for building secure and efficient AI systems.
That's right.
But what does all this mean for someone who's not, a hardcore AI engineer or a data scientist?
Well, I think it's important for everyone to have at least a basic understanding of these concepts.
Okay.
Because AI is becoming so pervasive in our lives.
It's everywhere.
Exactly. It's in our phones, it's in our cars, it's in our homes.
And it's only going to become more prevalent.
Right. So understanding how AI works at a fundamental level can help us to make more informed decisions about how we use it.
And to be more aware of the potential risks and benefits.
Exactly.
So even if you don't ever plan to write a line of code,
Sure.
it's still valuable to know a little bit about how these technologies work.
I agree.
So as we wrap up today's deep dive, here's something I was thinking about.
Okay.
We've been talking about tensors and safe tensors in the context of AI.
Right.
But could we use these same principles to model other complex systems?
That's a really interesting question.
Like what about the financial markets?
Yeah.
There's so much data. There's so many variables, so many interconnected parts.
Absolutely. It's a very complex system.
Could we use tensors to create a more accurate model of how the markets work?
It's possible.
Or what about the human brain?
Wow, now that's a big one.
The brain is like the ultimate complex system.
It is the most complex system we know of.
Could we use tensors to create a more detailed and more accurate model of how the brain functions?
I mean, people are working on that.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling to think about.
It is.
So the potential applications of these ideas go way beyond just AI.
I think that's a really important point.
Yeah, so I hope this deep dive has given you a new appreciation for the power of tensors and safe tensors.
Yeah, me too.
And maybe even sparked some new ideas about how we can use these tools to understand and model the world around us.
Absolutely, because the more we understand about the fundamental building blocks of these technologies, the more possibilities open up.
So keep those mental gears turning, folks. There's a whole world of knowledge waiting to be explored one tensor at a time.
And safely, too.
And safely, too. All right, thanks for joining us for another deep dive. We'll see you next time.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.